Last week, if you remember, I actually said this. Anyway, next week, I have had a film that I've had more requests for than I've ever had before, but I really do not want to watch it. Should I watch Frozen 2 or not? Please say no, because I really don't want to watch that film. The choice is yours. So, I left the choice up to you. Did I have any requests? No, so I don't get to watch the film. One. No, I'm ignoring it. I know I only have 250 subscribers, but I'm not doing two. No, I'm still saying no. 2 people, I can upset 2 people. Really don't want to watch this film. Oh, fine, you win. I'll watch the film and do a review on it. Frozen 2 is a 2019 American 3D computer animated musical fantasy film produced by Walt Disney Animation Studios. It is the 58th animated film produced by the studio, and it's a sequel to the 2013 film Frozen. It features the return of directors Chris Buck and Jennifer Lee. Kristen Bell, Idina Menzel, Josh Gad, Jonathan Groff and Ciarán Hinds reprise their roles, while they are joined by newcomers Sterling Brown, Evan Rachel Wood, Alfred Molina, Martha Plimpton, Jason Ritter, Rachel Matthews and Jeremy Sisto. Set 3 years after the events of the first film, the story follows Elsa, Anna, Kristoff, Olaf and Sven, who embark on a journey beyond their kingdom of Arendelle in order to discover the origin of Elsa's magical powers and also to save the kingdom after a mysterious voice calls out to Elsa. The film had the highest all-time worldwide opening for an animated film and went on to gross $1.45 billion worldwide, making it the 3rd highest grossing film of 2019. The 10th highest grossing film of all time at time of recording, and the 2nd highest grossing animated film of all time. The film received generally positive reviews from critics, so why am I doing this video? Well, as I like to say on this channel, there's no such thing as a perfect film, and this film is no exception. There are some things that can make this film better, so that's what we're going to talk about. 10 things that can make Frozen 2 better. Right, as you're here, please hit that subscribe button. Please also hit that like button, and also please share with your friends as well. And also, because I am talking about this film in its entirety, there are spoilers for this film as well, so you have been warned. Right, let's get on with today's video. Number 10, ruining fan theories. One of the things that came from the first film was the great fan theory that Anna's and Elsa's parents didn't actually die on the boat. In fact, they ended up on a jungle island. And while they were on that jungle island, they had a son. But when they died, their son was raised by gorillas and called Tarzan. Now, I love that theory. It's a brilliant theory. Unfortunately, Frozen 2 just took a massive dump on that theory, because the ship turned up in this film, and because water has memory, they showed their parents dying. They've ruined that Tarzan fan theory. I love the whole Tarzan connection. Why did you have to ruin that one? Number 9, water memory. I did not like this idea of water having memory. I mean, who would? I mean, all these naughty moments in the rain that you shouldn't be doing, that water would grass you up and you know it would. But I've grown up now, so I don't do things like that. It got me thinking, is it true? Well, in 1988, someone called Jacques Benefit, I think that's how you say his name, he published a study supporting a water memory effect amid controversy in Nature, accompanied by an editorial by Nature's editor John Maddox urging readers to suspend judgment until the results can be replicated. In the years following the publication, multiple supervised experiments were run by Bethany's team, the United States Department of Defense and BBC's Horizon program and other researchers, but no other team has ever been able to reproduce the results in controlled conditions, which is a good thing, but I don't like the idea that they've put an 80s failed science experiment into this film. Number 8, memorable songs. The original had some fantastic songs. Even if you've not actually seen the original film, everyone knows the massive hit, Let It Go, Let It Go. Yeah, okay, I'll stop singing now. But you knew about that song. And in fact, the other song as well, Do You Want to Build a Snowman? I've really got to stop singing. But in fact, if you hadn't seen the film, you knew of those songs. Well, what's this film got? Well, none. I mean, those songs from the original, 2 years after the original came out, before it started to die down and parents could actually finally let that song go. Now, this song actually was nominated for one of its songs for Best Original Score, and that was Into the Unknown. But it wasn't as memorable, it wasn't as powerful as Let It Go. Even like the last sort of film they did with songs in it, Moana, had Thank You, sung by The Rock, and that stuck into people's minds for years. That's what Disney does, memorable songs, but this film fails on that front. Number 7, too many songs. 8 songs! There are 8 different songs in this film. That is 3 less than The Greatest Showman, and that's the same length. And that was a full-on musical, but this is not just a musical, it's a Disney action film. It has everything. It's not just a musical. For a Disney film, you want 4 to 5 songs, not 8. It was way too many. I actually found the amount of songs off-putting. It distracted me from the story. And that's not what you want, especially with a Disney film. You want that adventure, that fantasy, that magic, not to be bored to death by boring songs when there's 8 of them. Number 6, music videos. And the fact there's so many, the fact that they're boring isn't the worst thing about these songs. Half the songs in this film were more like music videos. In fact, they didn't actually progress the story at all. And this is a film, that's the main thing. A song is supposed to progress the story, but this doesn't. It's quite boring, so they do music videos. I mean, Christophe's love song could be cut out of the film completely. It wouldn't diminish, it wouldn't enhance, it did nothing to the film. Why make these songs like a music video? We're watching a film, I'm not watching MTV, I want to watch a Disney film. Number 5, love story. So a film like this, it does need a B-plot, and I'm quite glad that Disney actually put a B-plot into their film. And they had the perfect one, Christophe trying to ask Anna to marry him. That's a perfect subplot as well. But that's not the problem. The problem was they kept it inconsistent. Now, they started off making him be a bit of a klutz trying to ask her to marry him, which was brilliant. I found that funny, but they didn't keep it out throughout the whole film, which they should have done. It could have been a nice little sidetrack comic relief to like keep the story moving and also make us laugh a lot. But they didn't. They sort of twisted it and they made it like Anna thought he was trying to break up with her, like he wasn't good enough. But there was no payoff to that one at all. It was like it was forgotten very 2 seconds later, like I did as well. But that wasn't the worst one. At the end of the film, he just popped the question, and that was it. There was no comeback for anything else. There wasn't even any klutzing at that moment. He did it perfectly. No. They should have kept consistency throughout this B-plot. And no. Number 4, parents. Now in my household after we watched this was quite a big talking point. Because at the beginning of the film, their parents told them, I don't know who saved the harbour. Okay, that's fine. Then later on in the film, we find out it was actually their mother that saved their father. Which was fine, that actually tied in quite nice and neatly. But then they added that little bit more towards the end of the film, and this made it a lot more confusing when they showed a bit of a flashback, thanks to water memory, that the girl's mother tried to tell their father. Now, did she? Did she actually do it? Did he know? Did he lie to the children that he didn't know who saved them? It just raised too many questions. Now, on a film that you have to think about, yes, that would be fine. But this is a Disney film. It's supposed to be open and shut during that film. And yet, this film didn't. This doesn't make it feel that much like a Disney animated feature. It's more of, let's just make another film for the sheer hell of it. Number 3, Lord of the Rings ending. How many endings does this film actually want? I mean, there were loads of them. Why? It's a Disney film. It's literally, we go on an adventure, the good guys win, yay! That's supposed to be a Disney film, not let's do what Lord of the Rings did and actually tie up every little thing. You can do that in the ending. Actually, it didn't even tie up, it just continued the story. But the story was already finished. I don't get it. One ending, please, in a Disney film. Lord of the Rings had too many, and this film had about 4 endings. Why? Number 2, sisterly bond. Now, my girlfriend hates me when I watch a film, because even if I'm not reviewing a film for this, I criticise films. I pick out plot points. So when she comes up with one, I listen. And she came up with this one. The whole premise of the first film was sisterly bonds. Bringing these sisterlies together conquers all. Great! This film ruined that. It broadened the whole thing. It wasn't the sisterly bonds, it was love in general. No, it still should have been about the two sisters. And it didn't. Did Anna really need to be there until right at the end? No. It was just like love from our parents, love for the one race to another. I mean, yes, these are all important things, but it takes away from the first film. This film has actually done more damage to the first film than anything wrong with has done. Number 1. Original story. A young royal needs to pay for the sins of their ancestors, whose legacy is built on conquest and deception, and the only way to do this is by destroying their home. Now, am I talking about Frozen 2 here? Or am I talking about Thor Ragnarok? And Disney wonder why people are saying that they've lost their edge, they're not original anymore, especially when this story is the same as something they use in the MCU. It didn't add to anything from the first film. They've actually taken a story from a completely different franchise and put it in the same setting as Frozen. Now, granted, Frozen has a huge fan base, so obviously it was always going to work, but still it's not original. Now, I'm hoping, and really hoping, that their 59th animated film, which is tentatively called Raya and the Last Dragon, is going to be a lot more original. We'll only find out in 2021, but for now, this story is not actually an original story. Final thoughts. The thing with Disney animated films is they're supposed to be a film for the entire family to sit down and watch and enjoy. And they did that with the previous 4 films because they were fantastic. You had Big Hero 6, Zootopia, Moana and Ralph Breaks the Internet. 4 fantastic films. Unfortunately, I cannot say the same about Frozen 2. I found it extremely boring and extremely lifeless. It was... Sorry, I'm going to say this. This Disney animated film was a cash grab, trying to recoup money from that they made from the first film. Yes, it did that, but at what expense? This has done more damage to the Disney brands, in my opinion anyway. Now, all these people saying that the animation is great, it is. All these people who are saying the acting is great, it is. But that's not what you actually mainly watch a film for. The story was subpar. There was too many songs. There wasn't that much comedy aimed at children. Now, when I watched this film, I watched it with my girlfriend's daughter, and she found this boring. She didn't want to watch the film. She's 11. She's your typical demographic market. And when 11-year-olds don't want to watch this film, you know you've done something wrong. There was nothing catchy to it. Like I said, Do You Want to Build a Snowman and Let It Go are still popular, not as popular, but they're still popular today. And this film has nothing. And people are going to say, I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm being biased and I didn't want to watch this film. You're probably right, but I still watch this film. I'm still watching it with, I want to watch a Disney film. I love Disney films. I actually did like the first Frozen film, but this didn't have that magic, it didn't have that Disney spark. Has Disney lost that magic spark? I don't know. As I said, there's still more animated films on the way and hopefully they bring that back. But Frozen 2 is a blip. This is probably the lowest ranked, or in my opinion, the lowest film that I've seen from Disney ever since Meet the Robinsons back in 2007. Other than that, they have been on such a run, they've been on such a high. And yeah, sorry, this film was quite boring and lifeless. And I know I'm going to get slated for it. So what am I going to rank this? Well, because as I said, it did have good animation, the acting was good. I'm not going to be too harsh, but I'm not going to be over the top. So I'm actually going to give this 6. 6 out of 10 berries. That's all I can do. And now I've done that, you can go ahead and hit that dislike button and slag me off in the comments below, because I know people are going to say this film is fantastic. And you're entitled to opinion, but unfortunately it's not one I share. So what am I going to do next week? Well, this week I did the 10th highest grossing film of all time. Let's go up that list and we're going to go to position number 2 and annoy John Joe. So if you want to know what I'm on about, come back next Sunday, 6 PM. Bye bye.